Again, Gregg of the News Tribune here in windy, cold Philadelphia. Not as cold as the Eagles and their fans were today. They were pretty miserable. The offense for the Eagles, pretty miserable. Seahawks win 17-9, go to 9-2, 6-0, franchise record on the road. The game wasn't even as close as that final score suggests. Eagles scored a touchdown in garbage time with 21 seconds left. 17-3 was really the game and deep into the fourth quarter. Seahawks should have been up at least 24-3 by the third quarter. They'd given away 17 points. DK Metcalf dropped a pass. The wind moved in the second quarter. Russell Wilson broke out, flipped the pass. It's wide open Jacob Hollister in this end zone. The wind, 17 miles an hour to his back, took that ball to Carson Wentz in the first quarter when the Eagles actually were doing something. Missed a touchdown pass by overthrowing an open receiver in the flat and the ball sailing on him as well. What won this game for Seattle, though? First and foremost, most important to this season, the pass rush. It has arrived almost out of nowhere. This was the 25th ranked pass rush unit in sacks 2 games ago. 25 total quarterback hits in 9 games. Clowney wasn't doing much. Ziggy Ansah was doing nothing. Well, Clowney are up against San Francisco. You remember that. And the Seahawks get 5 sacks, season high of Garoppolo, and 10 quarterback hits to beat the previously unbeaten 49ers. Pete Carroll said, well, I don't know if it's arrived yet because it's just one time. Today, they don't have Clowney. He came to Philadelphia ahead of the team earlier on Friday. Saw a specialist, Dr. William Myers, here about a core muscle injury. The decision this morning is that Clowney would not play. So you thinking this is going to be back to the first 9 games of a weekend pass rush without their top sack guy? Not so. Ziggy Ansah showed up today for the first time as a Seahawk. 1 sack in his first 10 games, a sack and a half, 2 tackles for losses, general disruption. He had a 3rd sack taken away in the first quarter by a holding penalty down the field on Shaquille Griffin. That was a forced fumble, by the way. Ansah was almost, not quite, but almost as disruptive as Clowney had been in San Francisco. And if those 2 guys are going off each edge, the Seahawks have got something. This is a season-changing development to get the pass rush going, not just getting pressure on quarterbacks, but being able to do it with just 4 guys, to keep 7 in coverage and have just 4 down linemen getting home. Jarran Reed had a sack today before he shared a sack with Ansah before he left the game with a sprained ankle. Reed walked out in a walking boot on his lower left leg. Pete Carroll saying only after the game that he sprained his ankle, but nothing more elaborate to talk about on Reed yet. 8 games now between the Seahawks' next game, by the way, until Monday night home game against the 8-3 Minnesota Vikings. But it is season-changing. You could hear it in Pete Carroll's voice after the game, talking about how this pass rush is now arriving at exactly the right time for this season. Bradley McDougald, the strong safety who had an interception today, said it is night and day, this defense, now that it has a pass rush. Night and day because it helps the secondary cover. It's logical that if quarterbacks have to get the ball out more quickly, it's easier to cover receivers down the field. McDougald said it's huge. And he also noted there were coverage sacks today down the field, and then Quandre Diggs, the new safety pairing with McDougald, has been an immense help, and that his experience and know-how and just general professionalism and knowing the position has made the entire defense better. That is a huge development that was not here at the beginning of the month. That changes this team's playoff fortunes, or prospects, I should say, is if they can have a consistent pass rush. If Clowney and Ansah can do it, and they haven't even played together effectively yet this season, let's first see if Clowney can get back from his injury. No word from Carroll definitively on where it stands for when Clowney might be able to get back on the field, but a huge, huge development today in Ansah showing up. Reed performing before his sprained ankle. Brandon Jackson got home. Quentin Jefferson they were active on the front 4 more so than the first 2 months of the season. And then Rashad Penny on offense. You saw it. Seahawks were malfunctioning offensively. Should have been far more than a 10-3 lead going into the fourth quarter. Just had a holding penalty to push him back to 1st and 20 early in the fourth quarter. And Penny takes off, goes behind a Mike Iupati block, cuts left past 2 Eagles, just flat outruns the starting left cornerback. At the 15-yard line, he stiff arms the right cornerback to the ground and goes cruising into the end zone. His 2nd touchdown of the season, in his limited roles. He had just 3 snaps, remember, against San Francisco. He lost the fumble on a corner blitz by being negligent, not holding the ball behind the line of scrimmage and getting it taken away from him for a fumble. The Seahawks benched him. He had only 2 carries for 2 yards. Well, today is career high 129 yards on 14 carries, and he was the closer back, not Chris Carson. Carson, the 1,100-yard back from a year ago, on pace for 1,000 yards this year, fumbled again. Recovered his own fumble. The early season problems he had with that. And then on the very next play, Russell Wilson misconnected on a handoff that Carson looked like he wasn't even ready to receive, didn't even put his hands to receive. The explanation on that from Wilson was it was supposed to be a naked bootleg play, a pass play, and Carson was going to be pass blocking and then going out on a pass route. Wilson changed the play at the line of scrimmage. Carson obviously didn't get the call and wasn't ready for the handoff. It looked like play was going to let the Eagles back in the game, and it was 17-3 midway through the fourth quarter. But then on 4th and 2, Shaquille Griffin knocked a pass away by Carson Wentz, who was completely erratic and getting pressured all day. That was the Eagles' last chance, really, to stay in the game. This is a 9-2 team keeping pressure on San Francisco, who's playing as I speak atop the NFC West. The 49ers' schedule down the stretch is much tougher than Seattle's. They still have to play the Ravens. They're playing the Packers tonight. They have to play the Saints, do the 49ers. The Seahawks come home now for a Monday night game 8 days from now against the 8-3 Minnesota Vikings. It'll be no picnic. But this team's season has completely changed because of the pass rush, and if that can continue, who knows where this season may take Seattle. All my coverage is online at thenewstribune.com and on Twitter as always at GBell Seattle. Sorry, I'm on a red-eye flight from Las Vegas last night. Thank you again for watching. As always, I'll talk to you this week.